Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 29th day of May, 2019. Well, numerologically, 29 reduces to 11. And because that's a master number, we don't reduce that any further. I mean, you could, the ultimate balance, I suppose. But the 11 is thought to be the master number for illumination, and boy, did we get a little bit today. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it, except that Mr. Mueller finally spoke. It's clear he doesn't want to speak to Congress or anyone else, which puzzles me because I feel like he needs to be questioned as to, okay, well, how do you know this, or how did you do that, or whatever. I mean, there's just questions that they need to ask, right? But to suffice it to say, because some guy decided in the Department of Justice eons ago that you can't indict a sitting president, yes, you can. There's really no law saying you can't. It's just an opinion, not even by a court. So, yeah, I think in the future we most certainly will, should anything like this happen again. But he reiterated the fact that, if he could have come to a conclusion on obstruction, he would have found that he was guilty of it, but he's not allowed to do that. So what's the point? So get all the facts, hand it over to Congress, and have them tell them go at it, do your job, which is essentially what he said. He also said that if he could have exonerated, Trump, he would have, but he can't. So there you go. Now we wait for Congress to do what it needs to do, I suppose. But I don't like this idea, I guess, of him saying he doesn't want to come to Congress and speak and talk to them. I think that he should. I think I don't care if he thinks it's a spectacle, or he's making us, or he doesn't want to be a spectacle. We already have one sitting in the White House. So I don't know how you can be an even bigger spectacle than that guy. So I don't know. I don't like that. That bothers me. But I'll take what I get, right? What choice do we have? But it didn't exonerate the guy in the Oval Office, not even remotely. So there you go. Well, we were going to do a walk this morning, and we're getting ready to go, and then we saw that Mueller's going to come out and speak, and so we had to wait a little bit, and we finally took the walk, did the 4-mile walk, and then I got back, and well, that's grass, but that's cheap grass. But I went and I harvested some chickweed, or not chickweed, but cleavers. I did get some chickweed too, but this is a wonderful herb. I just wanted to show this to you. I have some drying. In fact, it might already be dried, but it's like there's some cheap grass in it though. Anyway, cleavers is great. Cleavers, they're sticky. They stick to you. They'll stick to your clothes. They'll just sit there. If you drop it, look on yourself. It's probably there. That's usually happens to me. But anyway, cleavers is a great diuretic herb. It's great for fluid retention. It's also a good skin herb. It's great both internally and externally. So as a poultice, you can use it. It's good. It's good in a liniment. I like to use it in summer liniments that are cooling. That, and usually chickweed and stuff like that. Usually I'll usually infuse it into some witch hazel or something, and then it makes a really nice summer spray. But cleavers and chickweed and stuff like that. Red clover is another one. Plantain is another one. These are all, regarded as weeds, and they're not. They're medicinal herbs, and so I just think that if you're blessed with them, then don't eradicate them. Let them grow, and then harvest them and then use them, dry them and use, or you can use them fresh as well. It's a different tasting tea when you use fresh herb, though. Just be aware. You know, you might think, oh, I don't like that. Some people don't like the taste of fresh herb in tea. They just don't. Sometimes it's an acquired taste. Depends on the herb. But in any event, either internally or externally, cleavers is a lovely herb to include in your herbal regimen, assuming you have one. And if you don't, please get one. You'll thank me. You will. Anyhow, that's enough of visiting and sharing what I've been doing this morning. Let's go ahead and get started. I need to shuffle just a little bit more, though. I don't want to be drawing the same cards. Now, yesterday we had, it was a one energy day, so new beginnings. And let's see, the Chariot, oh, the Queen of Pentacles first I drew, then the Chariot, then the Emperor. And so it was almost like, you know, saying balance polarity. You know, it was a Mars day, so, you know, that's the last thing we need is an emperor who's ill-dignified, as they say. But then we drew Vunyo for the rune. That's the 8th rune of the Elder Futhark, and that's about fellowship and joy and unity and all of that. So and then Kata Draconis was the geomancy rune. Listen, the way that I've been viewing the whole geomancy stuff here, because I've been doing one at the end of the readings, I kind of view it as just a last ditch reminder of something to pay attention to. It may or may not have anything to do with the reading, but it's almost like as you're, you know, if you're a child and you're walking out the door to go wherever you're going, to school or wherever, and or out to play, mom's yelling after you, hey, you know, put your coat on or something. You know, just a little reminder. Geomancy is an earth element type of divination tool, and so really, you know, it's just that last little reminder almost is kind of how I've been viewing it. Clouded Draconis can be an evil. It's thought to be an evil geomancy rune. I don't necessarily think so, but it deals with the south node of the moon. It also deals with the outer threshold. It deals with endings. Whereas Caput Draconis deals with the north node of the moon, and you're talking more about the future endeavor, goals, all of that. The south node is that which you have left behind in a way. So leaving, you know, kind of, you know, that which no longer serves you, putting that aside maybe. So energetically, I just kind of looked at it as the end of a lack of balance maybe. That really doesn't, and a reminder that sort of thing doesn't serve us well when we're you know, in conflict, both in inner conflict and external conflict with others. So anyhow, that was yesterday's information. Let's take a look and see today. Let's draw the first card. Well, we have the 5 of Cups, so we're starting out the day with some sadness, maybe some grief. We have some change, definitely. You see the water in front of him, that arching bridge, castles off in the distance. You see three overturned cups, and 2 are still standing behind him. We can't really tell if there's anything in them. They could be empty, but something has changed in terms of his emotional state. Cups reflects the water element, so that's our emotions. And so something has happened here, but we don't yet know what. But he can't really, he's wrapped up in his own emotions here. He can't really see what he has before him. He's just too bereft, too upset. Let's do another card. And as always, if you haven't been here before, I take the 13th card each time for some randomness, and also because 13 is an important number to me. I was born on the 13th, and it's everywhere in my life. You know, I used to wake up, I've told you guys this before, I used to wake up at 3:13 in the morning, every morning. This went on for, I mean, at least 5 years, maybe longer. I without fail, 3:13, and I walked in the bedroom. Just was it yesterday? I think yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, and I just pushed the button on my phone to see what time it was. I didn't know, and it was 3:13. So anyhow, apparently, whatever message that uh, is still around. Anyhow, I just drew another cups card, the six. The Six of Cups. We have reciprocity. We have random acts of kindness. We see here. We see instead of in the five. I mean, you have a little bit of progression going on here. Okay, let's do it this way. You see here in the five, he's bereft. Okay, the cups are overturned. Two are behind him. You don't have any idea if they've got anything in them. They're likely empty. But here, now with the six, you're looking at higher self energies, and so you're looking at something that's beyond you. It's not just your life that we're talking about here with the six. It's higher self is informing it and the whole process, and so now you're aware of other people, and that it's not just all about you in this life. You're becoming aware of the unity consciousness that comprises everything. And so here, what you have here is one person is extending, is handing a cup of flowers with, and there's a lily, a five pointed lily in each of the cups, signifying purity, also signifying all elements and spirit in balance. And that's really the effect of the six, even though it's a five-pointed petal here. There's five points to the lily. It relates here, all right, to the change that we have. Maybe we've been upset, maybe things haven't been doing well, maybe we've just been, our emotions have been all over the place, maybe we've experienced some loss, but now we seem to be turning it around. Now, it could simply be perspective and not necessarily tangible stuff that we're gaining here, but it could simply be a perspective that has changed here, and it's a more higher self-informed, spirit-informed perspective. But here, if you look down here, just right behind her, below the large cup on that pedestal, you see an X, which at least in my viewpoint represents the rune Gebo. It likely doesn't, but it represents a rune Gebo, which is balanced energy exchange with others, and that's what you have here. So we've progressed from having something awful happen, and now we're we're changing our perspective. Here in the five, he's all alone, and he's apart from everyone. He's apart from his family. He's apart from his home. His head is down. He can't see anything. He can't recognize any other opportunities. He can't recognize any other way to feel. And then all of a sudden now we go to the Six of Cups, the next in the suit, and we've resolved that and realized that five, that change that we want, really isn't. It could be simply a change in thinking that needs to be happening, or a change in emotions, actually not thinking per se, but a different perspective is needed here. Oh, and dropping a card on the floor. Well, you know what? I'm going to lay this one down too, but I'm going to lay it down first because it's the Four of Cups. So we have a 4, 5, and 6 of Cups, and you can see a progression. He can't see what's being handed to him either, and you've got 3 cups sitting before him, and here you really can't see what you have. He's sitting with his back against the tree. His arms are crossed. He's not making eye contact with anyone. Possibly he's looking at those 3 cups on the ground. I don't know, but I don't think so. This always reminds me of someone in a pout, right? They're just pouting. They're not happy. Their emotions are kind of before them. They're wearing them on their sleeves. But they can't see anything that's positive that's being offered to them to try to find a solution. So, but there's something here that's grounded. And there's something about the crossed legs and the crossed arms that seems to be, it's defensive. It's a defensive posture. At least the crossed arms are. Anytime you see somebody doing this and they're just all bound up, you know, these are people that are defending themselves against the world. It's a really common expression of body language. People don't realize sometimes their body language is way more telling than anything that they could ever say. But we start here, and then we move here, and then we move here. You see the progression? Basically, he just can't accept anything, right? He's stuck in his own emotions, stuck in his own process. And here, he's let it go. He's let all of that restrictiveness within go. And instead of, you know, maybe living in the past or the future, he's now going to live in the present moment. And we have here. Let's do a fourth card, though. I mean, technically it's the third because the Four of Cups is something I dropped, you know, but sometimes, you know, you always want to remember that card. It could be important. And then when I saw the progression here, the 4, 5, and 6, because right here now, if we didn't have that 4, the 5 and 6 would be would align with today's numerology. That would be 11. So something has illumined our awareness, okay? It's brought some truth to who we are, that living alone, living isolated, living away from other people is typically, I mean, sometimes it happens, you know, just because, but other times it happens because you've chosen to do that. And perhaps that's not the best way to be. You're, in other words, the polarity within even isn't balanced. So I don't know. But then you add the 4 into it, so that's 15. So 11 and 4 is 15, which reduces to 6, which then aligns again then with the 6 of Cups. Well, we're going to introduce swords into it. We have the 2 of Swords. But we see choppy water in the background, don't we? We see the crescent moon in the sky, maiden phase. We see decision in the 2. If we leave the 5 and the 6 together as an 11, things are popping up on my screen here. If we leave this alone, then we have the 2 and the 4 together are 6. But here is a decision, and it's made dispassionately because, you know, she's got the blindfold on. She doesn't want to, I've got cleavers attached to me. She doesn't want to she doesn't want anything to interfere with her thought process here. She doesn't want anything external to try to interfere with whatever she's doing, okay? And the decision that she needs to make. She wants the noise to stop. I suspect ultimately we're going to put that 2 between the 5 and the 6. And the reason I want to do that, I think, is we've got the 4 of Cups, which is we can't see what's going on anymore. Our emotions are we're just too caught up in them, and we can't, you know, we can't see what's being offered to us. We can't see solutions. We can't see anything. We're going to keep our arms crossed, our legs crossed, and we're going to be defensive because we're really feeling threatened at this moment emotionally. And then a change happens, and you know, and sometimes things just have to be torn apart for the new to come back, you know, for the new to build, the new to replace it. So we could say in the 5 that he's letting go of things that no longer serve him. He's still pretty bereft about it though. But eventually, see, emotions can't simply be all you feel. Sooner or later, the head's got to come into play, doesn't it? And intellect's got to come in, and reason's got to come in. And so we're going to make a decision about all of this. And we're going to do it dispassionately, and we're not going to be so overwhelmed by emotion to where the emotion is all that we're really, you know, it's all we're about. It's all we can feel. We can't reason anything. We can't move forward. We get stuck. We can't make a decision about anything. We can't see it with clear sight, basically no clarity. But then once we make that decision, look what happens. We express love and gratitude and reciprocity. That just sort of makes everything better, doesn't it? How are we doing on time? 21 minutes. Let's draw a rune. My husband's going to weed eat along the fence line, but it's a place where I have flowers that are coming back up, you know, perennials. And so I have to be out there with him. He's going to do the back side of it, the pasture side, but then I have to be there and point out, no, don't go there. Let me cut. Anyhow, he's not ready for me yet, though. Not for probably another half hour. So anyhow, well, I drew Nathis. Nathis is a Norn rune. It's the 10th rune of the Elder Futhark. Hagalaz is about the past. That's the 9th rune. 10th is Nathis. It's about the future. And Isa is about the static realm. That's the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, and it's about the rune of the present moment. But Nathis is about the friction within to make something happen. And clearly, when we're so wrapped up in our emotions, it's just imagine a drain that's swirling, or imagine a pot that's bubbling. You're contained within that physical structure, right? As it's going down the drain, you have pressure from above. The water's anyway. You're out of control of that. You have no control over it, except that we do. You know, we have that inner will, that inner Nathis to break through that emotional stagnation that doesn't let us, you know, move on. And I see that Nathis, I think, aligns with the 2 of Swords here, because it's even though it's a fire element rune, I think that it's aligning with air element here, so that we can summon the will within to break free from whatever the emotions are doing. You know, sometimes we get so wrapped up and so emotional, we get so wrapped up in our reactions that we don't understand that maybe we're on the wrong track. Maybe our reactions are not what we think they should be, or they're worse than they should be. We're jumping to conclusions. We're deciding that something is when maybe it's not quite so simple. So then enter in Nathis and the inner friction within, right? And it's the will that we use to manifest something else. And in this case, I think it's a different perspective. And given that it's an 11-day master number for illumination, I think that it's saying that whatever we're discovering today, we need to manifest and summon up that will from within to then make a decision that needs to be made, and to stay out of the emotion of it and let reason guide us here. Intuition is fine as well, but if it sort of spills over into the emotional side of it, then, you know, because intuition is largely feeling based. You just know. But it comes from emotion, basically. You just don't want to have be so stuck in it that you don't allow for the clarity to just shine out and shine forth, right? So let me do a geomancy rune though, and just get that little reminder from mom, the earth mom. Say, yeah, well, while you're summoning the will to make decisions and to be nicer to one another, we can't always, I'll rephrase that. If we are so wrapped up in our own reactions, that we can't see the truth that's being handed to us. I started talking a little bit about Mr. Mueller coming out and finally speaking today, and we could hear his voice. I mean, we've heard his voice before, but it's, kind of a joke in a way. We don't know what he sounds like. Does the man speak? Well, yeah, he does. But the whole scenario surrounding the investigation, right? It's been very emotional for people, more cleavers stuck to my shawl. There's been so much emotion surrounding it. You have the supporters that just could never believe that any of this is even remotely true. And the majority of the people who didn't vote for him all believe it's true. So I think that we're going to have to come to a decision, those people that are reluctant to believe what's there, and just let go of those emotions and try to see this in terms of objectivity and in full clarity. Make your decision from there, instead of from, oh my God, they're attacking my guy. No, nobody's attacking anyone. We were attacked. That's clear. So now we got to figure out what was the effect of that attack. Well, that was the reason for the Mueller report, for the investigation. So now Congress needs to do what it needs to do. So you could maybe argue that, and then we all just need to get back to being nice to each other. So we're going to put these in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. So we have a single dot for fire. We have a dual dot for earth, a single dot for water. And then that leaves us, well, okay, so we did Kata again, Kata Draconis again today. So if we want to interpret that to be the end of the matter, it's like, okay, I mean, if you think about it, everybody puts their own opinion or impression or whatever onto everything else, okay? They don't want to look at what something actually is. They want to put their judgments and their wishes and their hopes and their fears and all of that. They want to attach that to whatever actually is. And then whatever actually is doesn't meet all those expectations, and there's something wrong with whatever is. It's suspect, right? No. It's like, this is a tarot card. I can't make it be anything else, right? No matter how much I might want it to be a really nice big diamond ring, it isn't. So I can't sit then and be disappointed and cry my eyes out and lament over the fact that this is not a big diamond ring, okay? It's a tarot card. It is what it is, in other words. And that's what I think we have to get to here. Whether this is about your personal life or whether this is about the greater issue at large that we're all dealing with, the fact of the matter is that emotions have to get put aside now. We have to make a decision based, and we have to maybe use that inner friction, that inner nathes to make that happen, because when we really fervently believe something, sometimes it's extremely hard to let that go. But that 400-page book, as they're calling it, is a roadmap to explain what happened, even with the redactions, even with that. It's the end of the matter. And what Mueller actually did when he got up there is he's like, listen, if I come and talk to you, I'm only going to tell you what's in this report. I'm not going to do anything else. Now, I actually disagree with that. I think he needs to just go there and just answer questions, whatever anyone wants to know. Just answer unless, of course, it's classified stuff, or harms the case. Obviously, something like that, you can't. But everything else, he should be able to do that, and he should be willing to do that and not put any barriers on any of that now that he's a private citizen because he's resigned. Well, but what he's saying is that because we can't indict a sitting president, we can't go any further here. Ball's in Congress's court. Do your jobs, folks. Cauda Draconis is saying the end of the matter here. Do your job. They're handing the baton off to Congress to now do its oversight job. And if that means impeachment hearings, then that's what it means. It doesn't mean that he's impeached. It means that it then goes to the Senate. Well, they won't do their jobs, right? Or maybe they will. Maybe what the hearings show, maybe it will just be so in their faces they don't have a choice. I have no idea. I don't know. But when you see Cauda again, it's like, okay, we can sit and fret and worry and fuss and feel what we feel, but at the end of the day, there are some facts that we cannot look away from, right? So get the passion out of it, put the blindfolds on, put on your headphones, listen only to your inner voice. It'll tell you the truth. And then maybe we can get back to being nice to one another again. Because that's all anyone really, really wants, is for us to all come back together and start heading down that same road again together. That's all anyone wants. So, even those of us who didn't vote for him. Anyhow, interesting reading. If you're having some emotional issues, maybe it's time to just let them go and use that will within to do that, because it's hard. It's very hard to let those things go, especially when you're so upset and in fear and worried and all of the things that are bothering you at this point. It's time just to let them go and come back to unified consciousness, unified awareness. Come back home. Let it be the end of the matter. And let's go forward together. So, well, that's groovy. Yep, we're right about 32 minutes, 32 and a half minutes. That's pretty good. Thank you so much for stopping by. If it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you come back. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. If you're here again, thank you so much. The blog, I'm steppingaside.com, is called Stepping Aside. I also have been working on this Amazon storefront thing again, and now it's called Influencers, I guess. Anyway, and it's over on Amazon. I mean, it is anyway. It just sort of appears on your blog typically. But something happened, and I don't know if I did something or what, because I did some different security stuff with the blog, and I don't know. I don't know. But in any event, it was like not there. It's like under construction. It's like, what? When did that happen? And so anyhow, maybe they are not doing it that way anymore. Maybe they want to shift it over this way. I don't know. But anyhow, if I got an email on it, I have no idea. I finally had to go through my email and just unsubscribe to just about everything because I couldn't find anything. It got bad. I mean, I really could not find it. People like, I emailed you. It's like, really? Where? No idea where. Anyway, check that out if you want to. It's called a Witchin' Store, and it's just a way to monetize our blogs, our websites. But it's all Amazon stuff anyway, and it just takes you over there. And we earn some affiliate advertising fees for doing it. And so, in any event, if you want to check that out over there, it's called a Witchin' Store. You can go to my blog though and get to it easily there. It's over on the side panel. You can click on it. It'll take you there. You'll also see one up at the top of the page there. It'll be a separate page. It's a Witchin' Store on the blog. That's just some links, and that's a whole bunch of links actually. So if you're looking for some herbs or whatever, something like that, you can actually go there. And if there's something that you see that you're looking for, a pound of nettle or whatever, click on it. It'll take you to Amazon. You can do it that way too. Either way, either go to the influencer page there. Or anyway, there's also a link to it down below here in this video, down in the comments thing. Or it's not the comments, it's right above the comments where it says show more. I have all the links to everywhere I'm at, and including the blog and the Amazon storefront. So anyhow, check it out if you like, and we will see you tomorrow. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.